And good morning, or whatever time you're watching this. We are going to take our phones, turn them off. And if you've brought some water, let's take some drinks of that. Really feeling nurtured by that water. Another drink or so. All right, let us begin. So let us start with the camera focusing. That is always a really nice place to start. And finding a place that you feel really comfortable in. And maybe that means sitting on a blanket. And maybe it means having some blocks underneath your knees. So really starting in a place that feels really, really comfy to you. And just welcoming yourself to the mat, to the practice, to this time. I love the phrase begin again, begin again, begin again, begin again, begin again. Every moment is an opportunity to begin again, begin again. And so let's start with that practice in mind here, that now, in our sutras, now is when we practice yoga. So now, meaning this moment here, we're beginning again. It could mean after all that you've experienced and all the studies that you've had before, all of that has brought you to this place where you can start with the now. Or now is the time for you to move forward. However you want to look at this idea of begin again, the journey you took to get here, or now you are ready, whatever that means to you. Now is the time for our yoga. Now is the point where we can begin again. Let's pretend, let's visualize that we are sitting on a riverbank. It's beautiful, it's safe, it's comfortable, it's blissful. And there's a beautiful stream rippling by you with clear, crisp water, ever flowing. And you're sitting here comfortably next to it, and you can hear the roaring of the wave of hitting the rocks. You can hear the bubbling. Constantly going, constantly passing, never to repeat. Constant begin again. And we'll sit here for 1 minute here, imagining that us too, like the stream, constantly in a unfolding, evolving, expanding. Now is the time to practice. Now we practice yoga. Whatever got you here, you are here now, right now. Start to settle in on your mantra for today, that practice that you want to be leaning on, that feeling that you want to feel in an hour. When you have your mantra, let's bring our palms to touch, thumbs against the heart. Repeat it to yourself a couple of times. And then we'll gently bow the chin to the chest, slowly open our eyes, see these fingertips, and then release the hands. Good. Let's start to create a pattern in our breathing, if you haven't already, that equal inhale, equal exhale. We're going to take ourselves over to our back. So the requested pose today is pigeon. So we're going to work our ways towards pigeon, which is a nice hip opener. So go ahead and lie down on your back for a moment, and we're going to take 2 blocks right at the top of the thighs, and we're going to push those thigh bones away so that breathing body is nice and calm. Start to activate that ujjayi breath, that noisy warrior breathing. And just play with the idea, however, whatever width you want to play with, that you're pushing those thighs away. You're getting all this beautiful traction in the back. One more deep breath. And maybe we'll use the blocks, maybe we won't. Let's take our left leg up to the sky, keeping that leg line open and close and open and close. Just feel that chain moving all the way at the top. Open and close and open and close. Slide that down and we'll switcheroo. Take the other leg up, open and close and open and close. 3 and 4 and 5. Good. Switching now. We're going to take that left leg back up, open the leg, and place the left ankle on the right thigh. Go ahead and take your blocks again and moving both thighs, not just the left one, but even the right one, where you're starting to inch yourself out of that waist. Keep imagining how those thighs are moving away from you. They're moving away. Some of you can start to bring those legs in, but energetically, we want to feel like those legs are moving away. Perhaps you'll interlace your fingers behind that right thigh, or maybe the shin. And as you pull these legs towards you, energetically, imagine that you're also pushing them away. We'll stay here for about 5 breaths. Begin again. Two more deep breaths.
Okay, we're going to use our left arm, scoop up that leg, and go ahead and put that right one back down to the ground and coming into a half happy baby. So whatever you can reach. We'll slide the opposite hand underneath our head. Our right hand goes under our head, and we'll extend this right leg out straight if it feels comfortable for you. When you're ready, big inhale, lift up the head, lift the leg, and we'll pulse it. 10 and 9, 8. How's your breathing? 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Pause. Second round out of 3 and 10 and 9. Head is really heavy. 6, 5, 4. Keep the head heavy. Keep looking at the sky. 2 and 1. Relax. Last round. Here we go. And 10 and 9, 8, 7, strong core, and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Bring your right foot to bend, right knee to bend, and keeping this half happy baby, we're going to put the ankle back on that right thigh. Shift your hips over to the left and drop those legs. So we're not in our twist, we're here in a hip opener. We've got the left foot all the way on the ground. Maybe some of you can even hold on to that ankle, and we're dropping that knee away from us. Here's an opportunity again, if you wanted to use this block to get lots of extension from the top of the thigh bone through the rib cage. You could even take your arm up and over the head and feel this. We'll be here for about 8 breaths. So notice that we're not in a twist. I mean, we are twisting, but we don't have our knees on the floor. We're keeping this left knee up towards the ceiling, getting a big opener here. What do you notice? So nice. When you're ready here, we're going to scoop up that leg, and now we're going to sit with our knee on top of knee like we're sitting in a chair. Okay, still have that left knee on top. We're going to bring these legs in again, imagining that the thighs are moving away. So energetically, we're not trying to collapse. We're keeping them away. Maybe you can grab the ankles and imagine you're pulling your legs apart. Sometimes it feels nice to push the legs in. And if this is not accessible to you, you could just keep the legs on the foot on the floor and move that way. So however you want to do this, just to check in, maybe even rocking side to side. Beautiful hips. So in the chakra system, we talk about the hips and the pelvis being the area where we're balancing out. We're balancing out our energies, our creative, sensual energies, very playful. All right, come on back. Let's go back to the number 1 here, that neutral, and we're going to start all over. Grab your blocks. This is a whole new side, so we have to start at the beginning because it's always what? That's right, I begin again. So here we are. We're going to be pushing those thighs away. Keep lifting that lower back out of the waist. If your arms are long enough and these blocks are unnecessary for you, feel free to use the heels of your hands to push. You want to keep feeling that sense that those thighs are moving away, but you're going to take the right ankle on the left thigh, push those thighs away. Keep the idea that you're pushing them away as you bring the legs in. So you're doing so many things at once, right? You're pulling legs in and you're pulling them away at the same time. What's happening in the left shoulder? Is it hiking up? Can you drop the heads of your shoulders to the mat? Can you stay relaxed here as you're working? . Can you feel space? Can you feel congestion? What are you noticing here in those hips? 2 more deep breaths. All right, let's scoop up this happy baby here. Go ahead and scoop it up, and we'll extend that left leg out straight, keeping those toes turned on. Left hand goes under the head, and here we go. 3 rounds of 10. Head is heavy. Pick up the belly lock, and 10, 9, 8. Are you looking at the foot? See if you can turn your gaze to look at the ceiling. Your head is 12 pounds, 3 or 10 pounds. It's heavy is what it is. 1, and pause. So let yourself have that heavy head. Here we go. Second round. 10, 9, 8, 7. Strong core. Zip it up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause. Last one. Here we go. Strong core. Fold it in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and beautiful. Relax. Let's take that foot back up there, that right ankle back on there. We'll shift our hips slightly over again, and now do the hip opener on this side. Stand your entire right foot on the mat or on the floor. Plug in that right big toe. Again, maybe you'll use your block here, and you're pushing, getting lots of extension. Holding onto the ankle if you want. So remember, when the body is still, there's so much internal movements happening, right? So that's why keeping our mind here, watching. Three more big breaths. Beautiful. We're going to scoop it up. So we're sitting knee on knee, right knee over the left knee. Strong core, zip it up. Pull the legs in at the same time as you're imagining they're pulling away. Grab the ankles if you can reach them, or the heels, and decide what you want to do. Do you want to press into the hands, or do you want to pull the legs apart? What feels best there? Start to feel your body breathing. 5 deep breaths. Relax the heads of the shoulders and the tongue. Beautiful. All right. We're going to come out. Take your time. And what we're going to do is one more thing before we start really getting going here. We're going to take a blanket, so rolling over gently, and we're going to take a blanket and we're going to place it. Now, this is only if you're feeling very strong through the lower back. If your back is a little achy today, this may not be what you do, okay? So, and you can make it as high or as low as you want. So the achy, the back, then you wouldn't want it to be high. It's high up if you feel like your back really is okay with this. And then we're going to take 2 blocks, and we're going to challenge ourselves now. If you have a wall or a chair, you could do it against the wall or the chair. We're going to take the 2 blocks for our feet, And we're going to put the blanket in the lower back crease, which we rarely do in yoga. So again, this is sort of being careful with the back. If this feels at all torquey or tweaky, then I would say skip the blanket and do this without the blanket, okay? So enter at your own risk kind of thing here. All right, so we've got our feet on the block, and we're going to keep our legs a little bit wider than hip distance. We still have this idea that the thighs are moving away from us. Notice that the blanket is in my lower back, but my bottom is actually on the floor, okay? So this is again, advanced way to set it up. If this is not for you, please lower the blanket or skip the blanket entirely. Okay, my feet are on the blocks. I'm going to take my hands to the thighs here, and I'm going to push my feet on my blocks and my pelvis onto the floor as strong as I can here for 3 sets of 10. Okay, here we go. Really turning on those inner hips. Here we go. And push. 10, 9. Push the pelvis down and the feet into the blocks. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Second round, here we go, and push. 10, 9, 8, pelvis down and pushing into the blocks. 5, 4, 3, 2, pause. And last round, here we go. And push. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Very nice. Take your feet off the blocks, pick your hips up, remove the blanket from underneath you, and we'll go to bridge here. Just counter some of that. Take the tailbone to the ceiling, relax the front rib cage, and find alignment here, whatever that means to you in your nice bridge. Grabbing a mat, grabbing the interlaced fingers. And 2 more deep breaths. Excellent. Open those arms if they're clenched and bring them slowly, bring the ribs slowly, 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 slowly down. Now, from here, drop the knees to the right. Bring your attention to the left glutes. Squeeze the glutes and flop them out. And squeeze and drop. Let's go 4 more times, 5 more times. Squeeze and drop. If this is at all bothering the knee, of course, you back off. 4, squeeze and drop. Squeeze and drop. You can even say that with me. Squeeze and drop. 2 more. Squeezes is a really common area for us to hold tension, these glutes. So see if you can relax too. Sometimes we squeeze and we hold it there. Can you imagine it's releasing? Last one. Squeeze, really squeeze it, squeeze, 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 and relax. Beautiful. Come on back up. Flip a ruby. Take the legs to the other side. Right glute, squeeze and drop. 6 more times. Squeeze, really lifting, really squeezing and drop. Again, if it's pulling on the inner knee, you got to back off. 5, squeeze and drop. 4, squeeze and drop. 3 and drop. 2 and drop. Last one. Squeeze, hold it, feel it lifting, hold it, squeeze, and drop. Excellent. And back up. So what do you want to do? Do you want to roll it up or do you want to roll over to the side? You get to pick how you come up. And when you're ready, up we go. Boop. And come on over to hands and knees.
So when you're ready, hands and knees, spreading your fingers out, equal space between each and every finger, including the thumb, in your tabletop pose. Maybe taking one knee at a time to straighten it out after that work we've done. As always, if being on your knees is tweaky for you, please put something underneath the pad, and we're going to be here for a little bit. So again, checking in on this hip alignment. Here we go. Spread those fingers out. Take your left leg up, toes pointing down, really firing it up. Hamstring curls, bend that knee, and we'll go 8 and straighten, 7 and straighten. How's the breathing? 3. We're going to do our behind the other knee dips. Here we go. And when you're ready, dip and push. 7 and push. Dip, touch knees and push. Dip, push. 4, push. 3, push. And 2, push. Last one, dip. And good. Some of you will be able to extend the opposite arm, holding here. Holding, feeling that balance between the left hand and the right knee, feeling that balance between the left foot and the right hand. 2 more deep breaths. Strong core and beautiful. Both knees come down, both hands come down, and up we go. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking your left ankle now behind the right ankle, bend the knee and just see how that hip is feeling. Good. When you're ready, come back to hands and knees, and let's check in on that other side. Same thing. Okay, finding space between your hands. We're going to take that right leg up, other side. And hamstring curls. Here we go. 8 and straighten. And 7 and 6. Float those armpits up. 5. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Dip it behind 8 times. Dip, knees, push. Dip, push. 6. How's the breath? Keep it calm. 2. Last one. Hold it up. Some of you will be able to lift that opposite arm and holding it here. Breathe. Good. And tabletop. Curl those toes under again, please. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Remembering the mantra, remembering what it is that brought you to the mat today, and begin again. Begin again, begin again, begin again. Downward dog, let all that fresh blood come into the head. Beautiful. When you're ready to come down, and setting it up again. Here we go. Taking, again, if you haven't had the blanket there, grab it. I'm going to grab mine this time. Okay, so here we are again. We're going to go a little bit more challenging. You can always go to that earlier level if that serves you best.
Okay, this time we're going to extend that left leg out, and we're going to bring that knee to the outside of the left elbow, cross it to the right elbow, and then kick it back. We'll do this 7 more times. Use the calm breathing on your own. Left, right, push, left, right, push. Two more. And downward dog. Second side. Come on down. Left, right, push. Left, right, push. Left, right, push. Left, right, push. 4 more. And sitting back on your ankles and paws, give your wrists a little break. We could even take them out, cross over, interlace our fingers, and touch. I'll do that again. Reach it out, cross over, turn the palms to each other, interlace the fingers, touch your belly, touch the chin, and open. Begin again. 3 more breaths. Depending upon where you are, okay, you may do what we just did again, or going a little bit more challenging now. Come back to hands and knees. We're going to take that left leg up again, that right arm again, and now feel how you're trying to touch the wall in front of you and the wall behind you, and then pull the knee and elbow together and reach, and 7, and reach. You're crossing over. Feel that outer hip. 5, and reach. Okay, here comes that challenge. Holding here. Bend that left leg. Can you touch the ankle? And hold. So you've got a nice back bend here. You want to feel yourself balancing the front body and the back body. 3, and 2, and rest. Begin again, begin again, begin again on that breath. Let's go to the second side. Opposite leg up, opposite arm. 8, pull the knee and elbow together and reach. And 7. Moving these hinges in your body. Feel the elbow bend, feel the shoulder move, feel the wrists, the fingers, the knee, the ankle, the hip. When you've completed that, again, reach, and maybe you can grab the foot.
And beautiful. Downward facing dog. We'll get the blanket out of our way. And gently walk your feet forward, coming into a nice standing forward fold. Strong, powerful legs. Remember what you're doing here. Inhale, sweep those arms up, and exhale, reset. Okay, so we're going to come into Parshvakonasana, side angle. So open that right hip, turn the toes out. If you need the blocks, you can go ahead and grab them. And we're going to start to walk these feet as wide as our hands. So feeling how you're walking as wide as your hands. And when you're ready, start to bend that knee. Now let's really see if we can push this thigh down, really getting heavy through the thigh as we're turning on this back foot, really heavy through that thigh. From here, imagine you're trying to scoop those feet together. Scoop the feet together, but spreading those thighs apart. Some of you will be able to bring your elbow down to that thigh. Some of you will be able to come to the block. And we're going to push the elbow into the knee and the knee into the elbow. A long hold here. Double check you're not locking the elbow, but you have a conversation between this elbow pushing in the knee and the knee pushing into that elbow. Two. And very nice. Slowly come on up. Close that hip, and we're going to switcheroo to the other side here, seeing what's happening. So finding that same alignment, we got that knee bending. You can still see your big toe. Okay, feeling yourself bending that knee. Bending that knee, try to imagine you're scooping those feet together. What does that do when you scoop those feet together, really turning on those inner hips here, taking your hand down to the floor or the block, and then have that little conversation between the knee and the elbow. So you're strengthening this integrity here in this hip, feeling that alignment. 8 more breaths. Two. Beautiful, strong legs. Come on up, close that hip and hold. From here, we're going to take our hands and we're going to place them on that triangular bone at the base. Double check that your heels are a little bit wider than the toes and your inner thighs are rolling behind you. And without jutting our hips forward, I'm going to turn to the side. Without jutting our hips forward, we're going to add a little bit of a back bend here. So feeling yourself pulling the tailbone down and lifting up the front ribs, but also the back ribs. Now, how do you do this alignment at the same time as you're trying to spread those heels apart? Maybe your hands can slide down the legs. Maybe you're keeping them at the sacrum. Inner thighs rolling behind you. Heels spreading open as you're lifting the back ribs up. So in other words, try to find a forward fold here in this back bend. 2.
take it over. Here in the forward fold, looking for the back bend. Two more big breaths. Strong, powerful legs. When you're ready to come all the way back up, come on up and walk your feet together, 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 together. Time to begin again. Okay, one-legged chair pose. Really nice to play with this opening of our hip. Okay, so if you need a block, go ahead and grab one. And if you aren't balancing well today, feel free to just do one-legged mountain or just lift the heel. Okay, here we go. Knees are over the second, third toe. Standing up nice and tall. We're going to sit down and up and sit down and up. You can see your toes the whole time. Let's do this twice more. Down. Now here we go. We can even touch the floor. That's how low we're going. Shift the weight to the right foot. Bring your left leg up. One-legged mountain. Same as what we started with. Pushing those thighs away as you're sitting down. You could even bring your elbows to the ankle and knee, palms touching. So there's a little bit of weight there in that leg. Keep the toes turned onto the kneecap. We're going to stay low here. Stay low. We're going to really fire it up. Bring that leg out and switch. Elbows on. You're lifting up and you're lowering down at the same time. To protect our knees, we keep those toes fired up. And when you're ready to come out all the way up, all the way up, and reset, begin again. Okay, let's head to the floor. Inhale, sweep those arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, jump or step it back to downward facing dog. Let's go through a vinyasa here if that serves you, or skip it and just go to up dog, finding that alignment. And gently, hands and knees. Okay, so what we're going to do now is start to head to Ekapada Kapotasana. So taking yourself, right knee is going to drag, or sorry, left knee is going to drag forward. Now, everybody teaches this pose differently. If there's a certain way you like to do it, feel free to make it yours. For me, the whole hip comes down, the whole hip, so that I'm not putting the pressure on the knee joint. The most advanced is when the shin is parallel to the front of the mat. So just like we had in our chair pose. If this is accessible to you, great. If not, great. Okay, let's look at this back leg here for a moment. So we have this hip that maybe is not happy here. If it's not happy, you can back off, or you can go all the way to your back and do the pose that we just started with when we had the ankle on the thigh. So you decide how this feels for you, and be very careful honoring and finding the line between careful and fearful. You don't want to not do it, but you don't want to push yourself into it either. So if you can, go ahead and start to roll this knee down, keeping those toes very fired up, spreading those fingers, walking those hands a little bit wider than the mat. Some of you are going to sit up here and just enjoy this. Some of you can actually bend this back knee and go ahead and grab it, right? So you're rolling this side body closed. If you're working deeper, Mushti Mudra, you bring your thumb inside the hand, the fist. This is a mudra for balance, and you could find balance here. Breathe, 8 breaths. Inner thigh on that left or that right leg is swirling to the ceiling.
Toes on both legs are looking at the knee. You could feel that leg pulling you back if you're doing this bind in the back. Two more deep breaths. And when you're ready, staying here, go ahead and drop this leg. Some of you will go down to your elbows and do more of a twist. I'm sorry, yeah, more of a twist, but more of a forward fold. Some of you can extend this front leg and do it with the straight leg version. So you're rolling over that leg. So whatever variation feels nice for you today. And we'll hold for another 12 breaths. I like to play with this idea that my foot and my knee are short. This area of my leg is short. I'm pulling my heel into my knee. For the next 4 breaths, send breath into the area that needs your attention. And when it feels time to come out, come out. Decide how you want to come out. Maybe you're going to bring that leg forward and switch like that. Maybe you want to go through a vinyasa, however you want to do it. And we're going to begin again because this is a whole new side. So we have to see what's going on this side here. So let's begin again. Shin parallel to the floor. Turn those toes on. How does this back leg feel? How's it receiving it? Can you turn those toes down? That knee down? Is it tighter? Is it stiff? What are you noticing? Some of you can bend that leg, grab a hold of it, and feel that conversation with it pulling you back and you're sitting up too at the same time. Mushti Mudra, and we'll stay for 12 breaths. Use yoga. Shorten this front leg, feeling the pulling of that leg behind you, opening you up, finding balance in the front and back body. Three more deep breaths. And when it's time for you to release, release, and then decide what's the next level. Is it to go down to the elbows here? 12 more breaths. Couple more rounds of breath. When it feels time for you to slowly roll off to that, and we'll bring our legs in front of us and we'll pause here for a moment. Just notice. Take your time to come out. Good. All right, we're going to take our blocks here on the sides of us. You can have whatever height you want. We're going to just play with gravity here. We're going to let gravity help us. Whether we actually do this or not does not matter. It's intention. So we're going to take our fingertips dripping off the block so that we keep the integrity of our wrist. And all we're going to do is just lift up. So whatever height on those blocks that you want. Once you've lifted up, just do some cat-cows. Maybe your tailbone is not on the mat. Maybe it is. Just see if you can find a lifting up sensation and letting gravity drop you. And coming down, okay? All right, we're gonna keep those blocks nearby. So here is a couple of hip openers and you decide what level's for you. First, we're gonna go to Baddha Konasana, bound angle, where we touch the bottoms of the feet together. And if your knees are up like butterfly wings, it means that you're crunching in the back. So we wanna have this down and we wanna have our bottom up. So what we want is our hips higher than the knees. So if your knees are higher than the hips, you need to back off and put your knees up on something. Okay, we'll all start here. So pushing the big toes together, spreading the toe mounds, spreading the toes apart. Take your blocks and like oars on a boat, we're gonna walk over to the left. We're gonna push both sits bones down and just lean towards your left knee. And we'll breathe deeply into that flank, that lower back. Notice the bend in the knee and the position of the leg. It's very comparable to what we just did in our pigeon. The toes are looking at the kneecaps. And our inner thighs are rolling down towards the center, but the outer hip is also moving to the outer hip. So we're finding this very aligned pulling down, but also pulling back, keeping ourselves with integrity. Let's cross to the other side here. Again, anchoring that left sits bone down and taking yourself over. Push those feet together, spread those knees apart.
And breathe into that flank. Breathe into that tight spot. So you'll notice we're not twisting all the way around. We're trying to bring the heart to the knee. Push those feet together and spread those knees apart. Good. And come on up. Come on up. Okay, so maybe you will go into Upavista Konasana where your legs go wide. Some of us will go into what we call Padmasana, lotus. So fire log is when we're ankle on knee. We talked about this before. Lotus, we have that same leg, but we're going to take the outer edge of the foot and put it in this top hip crease. So keeping the toes turned on to keep that knee safe, you're sliding it all the way to the top of the hip crease. Now, remember, you can definitely get hurt in yoga. So if this is at all pinchy or feeling like it's not a safe idea, trust your instincts and go to the fire log or go back to the earlier level, okay? So those of you who want to do Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana half lotus, you could put a block underneath this knee if you want to, or you could just tuck. Keep those toes turned on, and we've got this outer external spiral on our hip at the same time as we're pressing through this big toe. The big toe is pressing to keep this line open, and we're taking that outer hip. Some of you can come into full lotus, and that's what's happening. We're pushing through those big toes, and the outer hips are swiveling down. And then we could take the crown of the head and float it up. Keep those toes turned on, and if there's any whispering in the knees, it means this is not for you today. Okay, let's come out of that. Straighten both legs. Tell your knees thank you. Point and flex the ankles. Okay, let's go to the other side, always balancing out. We're going to take the left, or what you do the opposite. I don't know what you're doing. So I'm going to take the left one on top. Maybe you're on the right. Keep those toes fired up. Maybe you want to take the block underneath there and just play with that one leg. Double check that you're not feeling whispering in the knee. You're pressing through that ball mound and that external rotation is happening. Maybe you can bring that knee all the way down. Okay. Maybe you can bring that other leg on top. Maybe you're in that Upavista or that bound angle, whatever level you're on. We're feeling this lifting up, this pressing through the big toes to keep us safe. And we'll stay here for 5 to 8 breaths. We started with this idea that we're pushing the thighs away and we're floating out, and that's still what we're doing. Begin again, begin again. Every moment is a begin again. So sweet. Okay. And when you're ready to come out of that, come out of that. Again, send you some thank you cards to these knees that work so hard for you. Point and flex and point and flex. Okay. Let's head towards the floor. So maybe you'll use a blanket as a little pillow here. Whatever variation of the fold that you'd like to do. And you can take the bound angle again if you'd like, and stack those knees up. You could play with this moving again, thighs pulling away from you as you're coming into happy baby. So you're doing whatever wash away that you feel is best. So taking this next 2 minutes here to just really explore the work, keeping those knees and toes all lined up. Good, head to bridge. About 30 more seconds playing around with whatever you want to do. And when you feel ready, whenever that is, slowly bring yourself to the mat. And maybe bending your knees is appropriate today since we did some stuff with the lower back. And maybe leaning those knees together with the feet wide, or maybe propping your legs up is nice. If you feel like you want to take that legs out straight, feel free. Just noticing how the back is most happy. And going back to this idea of that stream that we started with, constantly changing, growing, evolving. You can't hold the water, right? Even if you try to dam it, it will break free eventually. It's just constant, constant, constant expanding, evolving, flowing. So this final pose that we're heading towards, this final Shavasana, is about just surrendering to the flow, surrendering to this moment here that you're in on your long life journey. And just to sit and witness it. So wherever you are right now, start to move towards stillness. Starting to move towards stillness, starting to find a position that you can feel held in as we settle in to our final and most important pose. Finding balance on the left and the right sides. Relaxing the mask that we're wearing, this muscles of the face. See if you can soften them around the eyes and the tongue and the cheeks.
And as your body goes completely physically still, we can turn on that inner gaze and see all that movement, all that flow that happens within us that we don't have to think about. We just breathe, we just have a heartbeat, right? Things are always moving internally, but we are stilling the outside to become more aware of the orchestra on the inside. Turning on that awe, perhaps, as if we were looking out at a starry sky or a gorgeous moon. This idea of, wow, there's so much mystery. It's incomprehensible, all that is out there. We can do the same thing on this inner gaze. Wow, look at this. It's incomprehensible, all that is in there. This mystery of you. On the physical body, the Anamaya Kosha, the hips, the shoulders, the neck stem, the kneecaps, but also the breath, how it nourishes, how it flows, how it comes in, how it goes out, connecting that inner and outer world seamlessly. To the thoughts and feelings that we live in this personality world that we are, this sister or father or brother or mother or neighbor or teacher, all these roles. And even further into this gut, into this instinctual world where we just have a feeling about something and the mystery of how that works. To the deeper knowing, the deeper seer, the witness, the observer of your existence, the part that sees the flow of the water without judgment. So letting yourself go right now. Now, right now is where we begin the practice of yoga. Every moment. Now, right now. Allow your head to grow a little bit more heavy, the shoulders, the wrists, the hips, the heels. Now is the beginning of my practice. Take your time here. Imagine that river stream. Imagine you're just watching the flow of your body without any judgments or criticisms or control. Just enjoy, letting go, letting go. And may this be of benefit to you. Deep bows and namaste. Enjoy.